Tom, I won't forget this.
Welcome back, everybody, to another video here on the Jurassic Park Podcast YouTube channel. I am Brad Jost, and today we have a full spoiler conversation with Scott Kreamer, executive producer and showrunner over at Jurassic World Chaos Theory. We're going to be talking full spoilers for Season 3. So if you have not seen the show, please stop this video, hit that pause button. It's in your history. You can come back later and watch this, but please do not spoil the show for yourself. Please go watch the show over on Netflix. There's 10 episodes. You can get through that pretty quickly. Go check out all 10 episodes, then come back and listen to Scott talk all about Season 3. Again, this video is full spoilers for Season 3 of Jurassic World Chaos Theory. Enjoy, everybody. Well, I got to start off here by saying apologies. Tom was not able to make it today. I know Tom's a big deal, and he wanted to be here with you to talk with you, but so apologize. I'm apologizing to you that you don't get that opportunity today, Scott. Sorry.
Well, he wanted to be here, but he's not, and don't think I'll forget that. So, and make sure he knows that I won't forget that. But I don't want to start from a negative. I want to start from a negative place. But Tom, I won't forget this. So, okay. Now we got that out.
Well, out of the way, we got that out. So I just want to say it was a lovely season, just as thrilling as ever. Tons of dinosaurs, villains galore. It was just epic across the board. So congratulations, yet again, another great season.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, this was our blockbuster season, and the team put something really special out there, I think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. One of the special things about this season that feels a little bit different is that Italy plays such a huge role in this season. So how was it any different from a development standpoint to add the Italian language and customs and locations into the show? And of course, working with Isabella and Beatrice this season.
Yes. And it's Beatrice.
Oh, I apologize again.
No, I was saying Beatrice too, and then I learned. And how cool is that, Beatrice Grano?
That's way cooler. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Look, production-wise, we just peeking behind the curtain. We needed some time to build Malta, and then we always liked the idea of. We knew we needed, as our story starts intersecting with Dominion, that we got to get closer to the Dolomites. That's where things start happening. And then we had set up this whole thing that was originally a throwaway joke in season 1 about Ben having a European girlfriend that may or may not be real. And it all sort of started coming together. And, it's one of those things. I was just talking to someone about it. It's it all feels like, oh yeah, we always intended that. Nah, we had a direction, but the idea of, when Bethany Armstrong Johnson came to me and said, "What about Isabella Rossellini?" And I'm like, "Yeah, good luck. We'll never get her." And we have her speaking Italian, and we really, like everything else, we just wanted to dig in and get things right and tell things from the ground up. So, Isabella and Beatrice both brought some even more authenticity into what we were trying to achieve in Italy. And, Bethany has an Italian grandmother, and we had a lot of people on the crew who are much more well-traveled than I. So it was really fun getting to explore this kind of whole new thing.
Awesome. Yeah, and such a great season for Ben too. His girlfriend is real. I never really considered that she would play any kind of role into the show. To see this be a revelation was awesome. So, and he's taken charge, a lot of the time. He's working out, dude's getting fit. It's just been lovely watching him, glow up since Camp Cretaceous. He's on a roll now. I love it.
Yes, well, as you know, most of us know, the love of a good man, woman, or other will really bring the best out of someone. And so I think Ben being with Gia is really helping him come into his own. As like you said, he takes charge. He's a bit of a new man. So it was really fun doing those doing the Ben stuff this season.
And that's the good part. That's like the good part of the relationship there is those two, Ben and Gia. And on the other hand, you've got, the rest of the camp fam who it's pretty heated at times. They're divided on Brooklyn, and of course, Yaz and Sammy break things off. And which is, that relationship is such a huge part of, just you showcasing like new relationships and really great stuff that is great for, I think, audiences to watch. And it's sad it's over now, like their relationship's over. Can you talk a little bit about like throwing your characters kind of just like into a tailspin when it comes to the relationships this season?
Yeah, it was really hard. I got to be honest with you. Like there's some of those records with Cosser and Rainey that were just like, oh God, what are we doing? This is so hard. But, look, part of telling the story of any relationship is like, look, there's a lot of people have feelings one way or the other about telling a same-sex relationship. And we've always wanted, look, they're people. And look, it's messy. And they are flawed and things are messy like any relationship with anyone. And then we just, it felt real. You start these two together as teenagers, fearing for their life every day, and the relationships forged in that. And then, there are clearly some issues heading into season 1, and they don't really rectify anything in season 1. They kind of come to an understanding that they love one another, but they don't really dig in and do the work. They just sort of like, well, we're kind of on this adventure now. So just, it felt real that they would, once it became clear they felt differently about these things, that, very few of us are still with the person that we were with when we were 15. My parents were together from 16 on, but I mean, that doesn't happen very often. So it just felt like a realistic way. And it's like, but it's no less heartbreaking for us, and we're the people doing it, because it's hard. I love this relationship. I love these two together. But it, we wanted to take them someplace that we haven't seen them, and it felt real to have them break things off, as sad as it is for I think a lot of us.
Yeah, I don't want to force anything upon them. I love that relationship too, but I'm rooting for them, to figure things out.
I am too, 100%. And and that's a testament to our writers and to Cosser and Rainey and the amazing performances they give. But yeah, like literally gut wrenching. And then again, peek behind the curtain. Then I've got to go listen to the records and along with Serena Irwin, our voice director, and pick what takes go into the show. And then it's like, you got to listen to that over and over. And it's like, it's hard. I love these characters, and I'm rooting for them too. But we can't always get what we want.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we did get that we wanted, I think, this season was the Pyroraptor, which has so many like great. It actually has like a bunch of different like great introductions across like the first several episodes, where it's like truly haunting, and the way it's revealed, it's so cool. So I'm just personally glad that we got to see more of that, since it was a little bit underrepresented in Dominion. It really just had that one scene. So can you talk about bringing that to life in animation here?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a different situation, but it's like when we saw Soyota Santos in Dominion and said, we got to get her in the show. It's like, it was one scene, but that Pyroraptor made an impression in Dominion. And, we'd always dabbled with the idea of putting a feathered dinosaur in our show, but it's tricky. You know, it's for animation and television. So we kind of like, okay, well, look, if we can do a feathered dinosaur, it's probably only going to be one. Let's get into this guy. It's very cool. You know, it's a scary dinosaur. And it's not like anything else. I love the bright colors, and it was just one of those things where it made such an impression in Dominion that it was like, okay, if there's a way that we can justify it being outside of Biosyn Valley where we saw it in the movie, let's figure out how to get this thing in the show, because it's really a cool design and a cool dinosaur.
Yeah, I love that. You know, like when I first saw it in the trailer, I'm like, okay, I see where they're going. I want to see how they get this dinosaur to be kind of in this weird spot that we see it in Dominion, because it's not necessarily like in the valley in Dominion. Right. It's kind of just like in its own place. So it's always been a little question. And I got to say, I went back after I finished the season and I watched a few sections of Dominion, and I was like, okay, I love this. I know that thing just got nailed with a snowmobile. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's, you know, and please tell the folks at Universal, it feels like a lot of people are going back to watching Dominion after this season. So, you know, I just want people to know that we're doing good work here. But yeah, that was always, you know, again, that's the trick with this show and Camp Cretaceous is, you know, how can we enrich what you've seen in the features and see things from a different POV and inform things in a deeper way without breaking the film canon, which I'm sure there'll be a bunch of people saying, well, this doesn't line up and that doesn't line up. But like I've told you before, we may not get everything right, but it's not for lack of effort. So
well, don't worry, we don't have Tom here. He's not gonna, like, you know, throw you under the bus or anything. So.
No, Tom doesn't want to look me in the eye and poke holes in it. So I understand.
Yeah. But honestly, speaking of that, you know, to me, it kind of like is twofold. There's a scene in the trailer and in the show where Brooklyn and Soyona Santos are playing chess. In a lot of ways, it's obviously like a metaphor for their relationship, even down to the checkmate at the end. But like, it honestly feels like you guys as well. Like, it's a game of chess to try to make sure that everything lines up in the way that you need it to get your characters from point A to point B, and then to cover these moments that, if anybody listens to the show, like, hears me talk about, I'm like, I can't wait for the moment when they eventually tie it into Malta, and that to me, and Tom wanted me to say he loved that sequence as well. That was awesome, just to see how everything tied into Malta. And like I said, I went back, rewatched Dominion, and I'm like, I know Brooklyn and the handler are laying down right there in that rubble. I know what's going to happen after that. Like, it's very, very cool. So is it like a game of chess to kind of align these sequences on your end?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like watching the movie, and look, and a huge credit to Bethany Armstrong Johnson, our head writer, and our amazing writing team, because it's, you know, and you're also telling all these individual character stories, and there's dinosaurs, like, but, you know, it's like we're watching it, you know, it reminds me of when we were doing the first season of Camp Cretaceous, and I had this timeline of where the Indominus Rex was during Jurassic World, and like, where can we, you know, put our kids? And it's like, okay, is it plausible when Santos is there that the handler and Brooklyn are in the back of that truck? It's like, yeah, okay, so that makes sense. And so it is. It's like making it's like a jigsaw puzzle with pieces missing, and you're making the pieces as you go to go, oh, that'll fit there, and that'll fit there, and that'll fit there. And, you know, and then once craziness occurs in Malta, you know, it's, it's like, okay, does this make sense? Okay, well, if the Atrociraptor is shaking some water off, is that enough of a nod for the audience to go, dude fell into the ocean off a plane? Like, so it's again, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's really kind of fun. It's hard, but it's fun to try to figure the whole thing out.
I gotta admit, when I've watched it twice already through, the first time I like to kind of just take it in. Second time I take the notes and everything. So the first time I actually didn't see Ghost shake the water off. And I was questioning. I was like, yeah, I was like, wait, what's going on? How did this happen? What's the explanation? Second time, of course, I saw it and I was like, oh my God, there it is. She's shaking the water off. That's perfect. Yes. That's all I needed as an explanation. So that worked really well.
Good. Well, I think that was just like, that's why it's there. And it's like, and hopefully it holds up. The thing that you also worry about when you're doing, especially a season like this one, is what if people haven't seen Dominion? Like, does it still? And hopefully there's enough adventure and momentum for the characters that it's like, okay, I don't exactly understand why this is happening, but I'm still swept up into, and maybe they go back and watch Dominion and like you did. And so, well, it's like I said, we're making our own puzzle pieces and jamming them into the Dominion puzzle.
Yeah. And, I showed Dominion to my son and he's seen the first season and second season. And I don't know if I mentioned it to you last time or not, but like he saw Maisie and he questioned, does she become the handler? And I was like, what, dude? Like, where are you going with this theory? So it's out there. These kids are coming up with their own theories. So it's fun to see that as well. So
fantastic. I look forward in some years to seeing his Handler prequel series.
Yes. And speaking of all these tie-ins and everything together, you do get a lot of mentions of Owen and Claire. Was there any thought to ever actually have them on screen or show them maybe passing by or anything like that? Or is it just like, let's just do our own thing, we'll just skip around them?
There was like, I would have loved to have shown Owen on the motorcycle, as he's leaving that sequence. There's always, there's all these different rules with different unions. Like, I don't know if the dialogue of scenes that occurred in Dominion is not the exact dialogue in the show. And it's like a WGA rule, or I don't know, because we kind of did it in Camp Cretaceous, but and even though Colin wrote it and had to do with this, we just got kind of hit. So, that was a bummer. I would have loved to actually reproduce those actual scenes that we're kind of at a different view. But, we kind of just got as close as we could without breaking any rules. So, yes, I would have loved to have had Owen and Claire in this and in the first one, but I think it stands on its own without him.
And I didn't even bring him up yet, but Barry was in there. That was a delight to finally get Barry. He's such a great character. Again, kind of like underutilized throughout the series. I always wanted him to come back in every film and like have a major role. So that was cool. Just I don't know if there's anything to say. I just wanted to say I like seeing Barry. He's a good guy.
Oh, good. We liked him. We liked him too. And I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, it was nice to be able to bring him in.
So switching gears a little bit, I want to talk about Smoothie. All right, so Smoothie is awesome. We finally get this egg hatching, and my favorite part is the earmuffs, whatever the things that get put around the head. Yeah, and it's the cutest thing possible. So I need toys, I need like merchandise, I need everything. So get working on that, please.
You and me both, man. I want it too. So you'll probably get it before I do. So yeah, Smoothie, between the design and the animation and the vocals that they came up with over at Sound Rebels, I mean, that is a cute dinosaur. So I'm excited for people. I had to fight to keep him out of the trailer because I want us all to discover his beauty together. So hopefully people like.
I know everybody watching the trailer is like, "Oh my God, the dinosaur's dead. There's nothing there." But a little tangent because I mentioned toys. Do you ever like pick up any of the figures or any of the merchandise? Like, do you have Lego Bumpy? Like that thing's awesome.
I do. My son has put it together. My kids are older now. They were, when we started Camp Cretaceous, they were like 6 and 7, and they're like 13 and 14 now. So yeah, we got the Lego sets. I got this guy. I was just I've got like the plushie Allosaurus, and they blinded the eye for me. So
amazing.
They were showing me this, and I really flipped out over it in the meeting. So they gave me this. But yeah, we've got some figures. When he was younger, my son really put together. We had like enough Lego sets to get all the Nublar 6 in there. But yeah, he's got Lego Bumpy in his room right now. My daughter's a little too cool. But yeah, we've got some toys elsewhere.
That's fantastic. Another big moment this season, though, is the handler. Well, first off, dies, but also speaks even bigger.
Yes.
Is there like, what's the backstory with the handler? Is there any reason why that's the case, or like, what was it? How important was it to you guys to just have the handler say, I think it was stop, right? Like at the very end. So,
it was important to. I think I really championed that idea. This is a person who is more comfortable with dinosaurs and is more akin to dinosaurs, and is just never felt the need to speak. And then when her babies are, she's seen Ghost go down, and now her other 3 kids are in, right? Her other 3 kids are in danger. It's like, that's important enough to make her speak. And I just always really liked that idea.
And how dare you? You brought Ghost back to life for me. She fell into the ocean, and I was like, oh, she's gone forever. And then you kill her off. Is it a her? I'm not sure, but it's you kill the dinosaur off, and I'm like, oh my God, that hurt me. There's always something with these villain dinosaurs. I always feel pain. Like, even though they're the bad guys, like I feel pain when the Indominus died, and all these other ones. So that was a hard one.
Like when we killed Grim the Baryonyx in Camp Cretaceous, like that. It's like the same thing, and much like the Sammy and Yaz of it all. Yeah, I get sad. That's a rough scene, but that's you wanted to. You asked for Jurassic, Brad, and we're giving you Jurassic. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of your fault, but yeah, it's rough. It was rough. And then to kind of like all of a sudden give the handler humanity after being just that Anton Chigurh character from season 1, and then things didn't go. What are you gonna do?
I was putting Michael Myers vibes together with the handler because of the outfit, because of like the pale face. It's almost like the mask and everything. It's like it's a wild character. And one of my favorite parts though was when the handler was like trying to turn Red to like her side, and she was like using like training tactics and like poking it and doing all this stuff and like getting it to really follow her lead. I thought that was a really cool moment, to be honest.
Yeah, I loved how our artists and our supervising producers, Asan Kang, did a really cool job in that sequence, and also to set up that, oh my gosh, she might actually be able to turn the Carnotaurus based on what we just saw happen. So yeah, that was a really cool. Look, I geek out watching the stuff the artists do too. So I'm with you. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, she said stop, and I was like, "Ooh, did she stop the Carnotaurus?" And then I wrote my notes. Nope.
Yeah, well, for a second, you thought about it, and it just didn't go as well.
So Soyana Santos is finally captured. We see her being held at gunpoint by Barry, and seemingly captured in the movie, but things happen from there. So, but how did it feel overall to just give this character like a closing chapter with Deachin?
Oh, it was great. Again, we've got so many amazing actors, and to get a chance to work with Deachin, or Isabella or Beatrice, or and our regular cast. These are all really good actors. But we loved that character. And once we, watched Dominion for the, 400th time, it's like, we don't really know what happens. We see Barry has a gun on her, but we don't really see her get taken to jail. Can we extend this? Can we do more with it? And, then we said yes. Yeah, it was fun. And also for Brooklyn, who, early in the season, I don't think Brooklyn necessarily at times kind of loses her moral footing yet again. And there's some things about being in league with Santos that I think were appealing to Brooklyn, especially as she's had to set aside some of her humanity along this journey she's been on. So really giving Brooklyn some closure with Santos and to bring that to a place where we felt good about it, and then also giving Deachin the goodbye that we're excited about. So I like how everything ends up there.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you can answer this one, so play coy if you want to, but we see the timeline play out with Malta and everything, and it happens around a few different episodes, but we know that this leads us to Biosyn Valley. So in Jurassic World Dominion, Biosyn, it kind of takes place over like a relatively short amount of time. And assuming we have season 4, is it going to fit itself within that short amount of time frame, or are you just going to expand and blow it up? Like, what are you going to do? What's your idea?
Well, let me tell you exactly what I want to do.
Yes.
I'm not really going to tell you that, Brad. Look, if we're lucky enough to be able to continue this story, as we have taken great pains to do before, we're going to figure it out. How's that for vague? So either we're going to do one of those things. We'll either fit it into the short amount of time, or we'll blow it up, or maybe a musical. I don't know, but stay tuned, and hopefully you'll find out. We've got a plan, and hopefully we get a chance to execute said plan.
Yeah.
Is that?
Look, I just wanted to hear you.
Yeah.
I just want to hear you dance around it. That's really all. Like,
well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I hope that was as awkward as it felt.
No, I appreciate every answer you've given today. It's an awesome season, and I always look forward to the show. So, and thanks again to everybody for letting us get a chance to watch it early. It's a real blessing. So thank you so much, Scott. It's awesome.
Hey, thank you, Brad. Tom, you're dead to me, but Brad, again, okay, he's not dead to me. But hey, man, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And thanks as always for your support and your fan support.
Well, there you have it. That was our conversation with Scott Kreamer, executive producer and showrunner over at Jurassic World Chaos Theory. So thank you so much for tuning into a lot of our season 3 content. It's not done yet. We've got so much more to come. So please, thank you for tuning into this one. Be sure to watch and listen to our full spoiler breakdown episode with myself and Tom Jurassic. It's a podcast form. It's in video form. Tom's also got another video spoiler breakdown. He's also got an article over on JurassicParkPodcast.com. And we've got, like I said, more content coming. Keep your eyes peeled next week for maybe some more interviews. Yes, so much content out there. And I'll be breaking down more every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. EST, over on our live stream. And we're doing first Thursdays of every month for Beyond the Gates breakdowns for new toy reveals. So you can check those out here on YouTube as well. But we've got so much content. So stay tuned to the Jurassic Park Podcast. Go to JurassicParkPodcast.com. Follow us all over there. And you can go to Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those places. We're on there as well. I am Brad Jost. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay safe, be kind, and as always, enjoy.